What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Align of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the Build the Enterprise D from Fanhome, and an episode that I've been kind of looking at and going, it's either going to be really short or it's going to take me a long period of time. So today we're really only going to be covering stage 66, as I need to do some modifications to the pylons here for the nacelles. And it looks like because of those modifications with this stage, with all the parts that we've already gotten, I'm actually going to be installing one of the nacelles today. Holy crap. And that's because of the way that we have to route the wires and do the modifications today. We can't really just clip on the nacelle later. So we're going to go ahead and install one of our nacelles today and do a little bit of modifications for, I guess, an addendum to the nacelle mod. So today we're going to be doing stage 66. And what we need to do to start today is I'm going to need to take my Dremel tool and I need to go through and do a little bit of carving out of the metal here in order to allow for some room for our wires to pass through from the nacelle. So I'm going to go ahead and start with doing that. And it's going to be loud and droning work. So in order to pull this off, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do this off camera. And basically to demonstrate what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be carving a little small slot right here at the top, just a slight one, just enough for the wires to kind of pass through here. And then we're going to be grinding down and doing the same thing right down here. Just give ourselves a little bit of room to work with. So I'm going to be using a grinding wheel and a couple metal files just to make sure we're all cleaned up. But we're going to go ahead and run through here and get it all ground down. And we will be right back to show you how that turned out. All right, so as I kind of go through and finish sanding up my edges here, making sure that I don't have any sharp burrs or anything where the metal can get caught on the wires. And there we are. So we got our two little ports here on either side. And we're all ready to go. So now, as crazy as it sounds, we need to get back to stage 64 for a quick second and grab our parts from that, and then grab our little clips here. And let's go ahead and go back to stage 64. And as always, I am following along with myenterprised.com. Okay, so on this side, you can see that they're already molded on the outside, but on this side, because of the way the clips work on the nacelles, we need to install them in place. All right, and what we're going to do is just simply push these in place. Just like so. Like, do I need to glue them? I do not. There's a pretty solid press fit connection. And there we go. Excellent. So that completes stage 64. So now let's go ahead and move on to stage 66, and let's go ahead and grab all of our parts. And there is a lot of stuff in here. Let's go ahead and grab our blade. And as a reminder, I've already gone through and done my resin windows. So here they are. And in this case, every single window is darkened. So let's go ahead and get that off to the side. And then what we have here inside are going to be some of our hull color screw covers. We're going to be keeping these off to the side along with all the other ones and waiting until the very end to go ahead and install all those, as I want to make sure that we're sealing up this model at an appropriate time in case I need to pull anything apart. So now let's go ahead and empty all of our parts out of our bag. Go and set our sharp up stuff off to the side. And as all my little cups are dirty, I'm just going to go ahead and keep my screws out until I need them. We have our AM, BP, and CP screws. Got a couple of our reflector housings. Our escape pod cover. Some windows that we don't need to use. My favorite thing to say. One escape pod. And two phaser strips. One phaser strip for our hull panel section. And then this is one of our spring-loaded phaser strips for the nacelles. that sit on the outside of the pylon. So let's go ahead and get everything all set off to the side. And then, of course, we have our signature pylon section here. And it looks so good, I do have to say. Set that with the other one for the inner housing. That's the outer. And let's go ahead and start, I guess, with stage number 66. And for whatever reason, they're wanting us to install this later. So what we're going to do is this one we're installing? Yes, it is the port side that we are going to be working with today. So what we're going to do, I see that Todd installed. Oh, I'm going to need to kind of run this in a. I'm going to run this stage in an opposite order here real quick. So I'm going to go work on this whole panel, which we're not going to be installing today. So let's just go ahead and get this in. I need a new one of these, obviously. This one's pretty mangled. So let's go ahead and set that off to the side. We'll use that for CA for whatever we're doing. And let's go ahead and work on our section, our whole panel section here. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You can see what we're doing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our single escape pod cover here. And as noted before, there are 4 little tabs. I'll show you here. So on the top and bottom of each nacelle or escape pod cover, there's going to be those 4 little tabs. What we're going to want to do here is remove each one of those tabs, as it does help. Once we remove those, it helps seat the escape pod cover a little bit more securely. Okay, so we're going to go and slot that into place, just like so. And then going out of sequence here, because for whatever reason they don't have us put the cover on. And we're going to use some AM screws, and we're going to go ahead and just plug this in place, just like so. Go ahead and grab our AM screws, assuming that's what we're going to be using for our reflectors as well. So let's go ahead and get all of them out. And as a reminder, anytime you're using AM screws or any M screw, we are going into metal, we want to go ahead and get our 3-in-1 oil out. Let's go ahead and grab our pH 0. And let's go ahead and grab one of our AM screws. And then we're going to go into the 3-in-1 oil. There we go. And one at the top, one at the bottom here. Tried to be a little smooth there, and it didn't quite work. There we go. There we go. And one more. There we go. These are some really tight fitting pieces here. All right, we're going to go ahead and grab this one here. Slot this one in. Just like so. There we go. This is going to be also an AM screw. And our other one here. And there we go. And that's what that looks like. Very cool. And there's the panel. Excellent. The reflectors really aren't going to do anything here, but they're there. All right, so now I believe we're going to, yes, we have our AM. So I'm going to set the AM screw off to the side here. Go ahead and grab out our CP screws. All right, and we're going to go ahead and install our phaser array. And I'm using 2 CP screws. Don't need to use the 3-in-1 oil for the plastic. tell you, there is a lot of overspray on this one. If you do have a difficult time screwing them in, you can, if you'd like. Excellent. And there's our whole panel assembled. All right, so I realized a couple things. One, I didn't finish doing what I said I was going to do at the end of the episode, and that was going to be to tie in all of the negatives into one. And just was like, oh, okay. And I needed to also extend out my yellow cable here, which is also for my Bussard collectors. So I just needed to go ahead and do a little bit of extending out of the cables. And now, to completely kind of deviate from what you're going to see in the instructions, I need to install the nacelle now because we're going to be closing together pieces. Um, it's what it is, and I have to say I'm pretty damn excited about it, to be quite honest with you. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and get this assembled and put in place. And to do so, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my wires kind of pushed back. Now, when I do the next nacelle, I am going to have the wires coming out of this rear port versus the center port. On this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and tuck them down a little bit like this. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is get the wires to line up with the little port that we have created. And very gently, oop, wrong way. There we go. I was like, wait, why isn't that clipping in properly? There we go. So this is going to slot in just like this. And we're going to, oh, I see. So our wires are actually in the right place. So never mind everything that I just said. So make sure we have all that together. We're going to lightly clip this in place. Now, we need to run our wires down through the next little channel that we created just like this. Now, to hold this in place, I'm going to grab a piece of my Tamiya tape. And just while getting these nice and tucked, and I'm going to try to keep them straight, level, and flat. I didn't use ribbon cable, although I should probably order some. But I also think we're going to be totally fine. What I'm going to do for right now is tape this in place, just like that. So our wires are tucked along there. And they do indeed clear. Excellent. So now, where we were, where were we? We were here. We're going to go ahead, get the springs put over the posts. We already got the inner part of the pylon assembled there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install both of our ventral phaser strips, pushing them slightly down and in. They will stick in place. And then very carefully, what I'm going to do is set this over the top, just like so, matching up our pieces. There we go. And working on getting your fitment right. Make sure your springs are springing. Excellent. Wires are making clearance. We're good to go. I'll slightly pinch this together, and then I'm going to get out my BP screws. Then, going from the inside first, we're going to secure together these two hull panels from the inside. It's kind of cool to see the nacelle kind of put in place, I do have to say. There we go. Sure, our wires are still running good. So we got spring on our piece. And all right. Now we're going to go ahead and grab 2 more of our BP screws. And we're going to connect it from the outside. Then I'll tighten all of them down. Excellent. Ooh, this is cool. I do have to say, this is very cool. All right, that's in. Tighten down. Tighten down. Let's get to the inside here. Tighten these 2 down. And our last screw. Then, let's get the nacelle clipped into place. All right, so I'm attempting to get this clipped into place. It seems that the clips themselves are not locking, despite working and pushing in and out. There we go. I'm a little curious about this connection, however. So Todd, let me know. Should it be like an audible click? Should this be sticking in place? It's not moving now. We're good to go now. But should it be like an audible click or something like that? But regardless, there it is. Stage 66, that was a lot of recording, a lot of work to get done. I had to do some soldering and a bunch of other stuff. But our modded stage 66 with our nacelle, our first nacelle, my friends, is actually attached to the model. And after we powered it up and it got warm for the first time, some things have happened to the inside of the Bussard collectors. I'm not sure what that's all about, but we're just going to live with it. Perhaps the fact that it is a little loose still maybe is not a bad thing. We'll talk about that as I discuss things with the Toddfather going forward. So there it is. Modded stage number 66 is complete. And just like Order 66, this was pretty freaking awesome. Not for the Jedi, though. Wrong franchise. What am I talking about? But there it is. One of the most iconic parts of our ship is properly installed. And I gotta say that looks pretty damn cool. So there it is. We're going to go ahead and move on to stages 67 and 68 next time as we march on towards getting our engineering section and our hull panels installed and the special announcements coming up as I've gotten most of this model in a big box. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things you all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me, watching me futz around with the model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. You guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world where we happen to be. And just remember, my friends, to always live long and prosper.